think I'd want to watch anything about COVID, but this was well done, very smart to document everything that was going on in all the different phases. So it takes us on the journey that we've been on, but really seeing Toronto, the eyes of being in Canada. And I like that a lot. It kind of unifies us all of like, yep, we went through that, we went through that, we went through that, but I'm looking at Toronto. So beautiful cinematography, very smooth, but the sounds were still very sharp, and the music was kind of this light, kind of hopeful, despite the challenging times. And I really appreciate that take on it, while capturing everything that we've lived through. So it was really smart to keep that going through this historic time that we're living through.
There was a period of time when things were very quiet on the streets, and I'm glad that this filmmaker had gone out there and captured that. It's a great little time capsule of a really dark period, and they did a really good job at piecing it all together, adding some soft music and some subtitles, sort of explaining it all. So yeah, it's a great little piece, definitely worth checking out.
Honest and cute production. I really enjoyed seeing some shots of this city. It was this incredible feeling of being home, and also the sadness of how different the city looks due to the pandemic. It's just so, it was a very familiar script, and it felt from the heart, so I really enjoyed it.
I love the fact that the story was told with captions, and the music was the only background that you can actually hear.
Very accurate timeline of events. Showing COVID trends on the billboards was also really relevant. I liked the shots of Ripley's and the CN Tower, and the deserted Nathan Phillips Square. A deserted downtown area. I like that this film took a look at the positives of the pandemic, while still being upfront with the truth, like the death rate and the death toll, and then the contrast of being able to hear birds chirping in downtown Toronto, which is a rarity.
It was just how quiet it was. It was almost unsettling, and the film later mentioned it, about how quiet it was and how you could hear the birds for the first time. But yeah, it was almost unsettling, because it's just something that you never experience. The city, along with the world, was completely put on pause. There was a real simplicity to how this was shot. It was really just simply driving around and showing the different areas and neighborhoods and signage of downtown Toronto during the lockdown. And yeah, I thought that it was very effective. It didn't really need all the bells and whistles, and it was perfect the way that it was. I thought it was really effective paired with the text as the story medium. And it wasn't fear-mongering, but it was more reflective, both sides of the COVID experience.
I really liked this one. I think it showed the effects of this virus, and I really liked how it was able to present how life was just bustling, everything was going, and then just sudden stop. And you could see in the streets of Toronto what they were saying with the noise level just ultimately just got shut out, because now you can hear the birds, you can hear the nature, and it's very interesting because I can relate to that, and just to see how eerie that is, how lively a place can be, and then in an instant be a ghost town. The direction, I think they did a really good job with the music selection, the shot selection, the way they shot it. I really like the way they shot it because it felt like a personal experience through this, not just a third-person perspective.
It's an amazing documentary piece that sheds light on how the COVID-19 pandemic affected Canada. It's sad to see how this pandemic hurt their country and all the people in their country. Since this is a nationwide issue, there is a sort of compassion that everyone can have, no matter what state or country you're from. The ending was satisfying as we were able to see that cases are going down in their country, which is very inspiring for people in different countries where the cases might not be going down so quickly. It reminds us that there is an end to this horrible, horrible time.
We get a picture of what their experience with the virus and then their recovery was like. And it has various similarities and differences to the US and other countries around the world that are, of course, still combating it. And I think we can certainly take some lessons from this short doc that highlights some of the steps that they took, both through, by the way, through narration and visuals, showing these steps that were taken in order to ensure public safety. And the second best thing that I believe it does, right next to that, right next to educating us on how Toronto handled this quite well, is it keeps consistently reinforcing, again through visuals especially, the admiration that we should have for frontline workers, especially, of course, healthcare workers, who have been our true saviors throughout this time. I believe that it's fantastic that any sort of form of media discussing the COVID pandemic gives some kind of attention to the sacrifices made by frontline workers, and I think it's fantastic that this film did just that. So very well done, understated, to the point, and informative.